Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Because of His grace and guidance, I was able to complete and present this research. Second, I would like to thank my supervisor, Miss Intan Satriani M.Pd as my first supervisor and Miss Rasi Yugafiati M.Pd as my second supervisor for being patient and helping and guiding me so that I can finish my research paper. I am Eka Pratiwi SW from English Education Study Program 2018. This presentation is made to fulfill the final project for Sarjana Pendidikan Degree in English Education. This time, I would like to present my research paper with the title Developing Descriptive Text Module to Teach Reading Skill Through Scientific Approach of 8 Junior High School Students. I will present 5 things in this research. There is background of the research, the objective of the research, and the methodology, which is consists of research design, research method, subject of the research, data collection, data analysis, and ADI models. After I explain about the methodology, I would like to present about the result of this study, and the last, I would like to conclude the presentation. First, I would like to explain the background of the research. Several backgrounds underlie this research. First, reading plays an essential role in studying English because much of the English material is in written form. Second, the variety of reading methods in Indonesia, so it is complex for students to master English, especially during the pandemic, because some students do not have adequate tools for independent study at home. Third, description text is a text that needs to be mastered by grade 8 student. This is contained in the 8th grade student syllabus with the aim of student being able to explain everyday things well. And the last, learning descriptive text use a module that uses a scientific approach to facilitate the distance learning process. There are 4 objectives of this research. First, to find out the process of developing descriptive text module to teach reading skill through scientific approach for the 8th grade student in junior high school. Second, to find out the result of developing descriptive text module to teach reading skill through scientific approach for the 8th grade student in junior high school. Third, to investigate teachers and student response toward the model developed through scientific approach. And fourth, to examine the challenges in developing descriptive text module to teach reading skill through scientific approach for the 8th grade student in junior high school. The method used in this research is research and development. Based on Berg and Gall 1998 in Sugiono 2021, research and development is the process of developing and validating educational products. In research and development, there are several models can be used by the researcher. At this time, the researcher chooses to use the ADI model. According to Creswell 2016, referenced by Aldeliana 2019, one model that acts as a guide in producing effective dynamic learning and support learning is the ADI model: analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. This research was conducted in one of the public junior high school in Padalarang. The subject of this study were 61 8th grade students, and the researcher was carried out in 2 parts of testing. The first one is the preliminary testing was administered to 31 students in 2 classes. And the second one is the main field testing was administered in 4 classrooms with 61 participants. In this main field testing, responders from the preliminary testing were again included. The data collection instrument used by the researcher in this study contained 5 instruments. First, instrument of need analysis using questionnaire, document analysis, and interview. Second, instrument of expert validation using validation sheet. Third, instrument of product testing using questionnaire. Fourth, instrument of student and teacher response using questionnaire. And the last one is the instrument of obstacle that use the stage in reflective writing. Meanwhile, to analyze the data, the researcher used quantitative data obtained from a questionnaire and qualitative data obtained from interviews. ID model is one of the models that can be used in the R&D research. In this model, 5 steps must be taken. There are analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. The first result of this research is the process of developing media using ID model. As I previously mentioned, the first stage of ID model is analysis. The researcher analyzed student need and curriculum. Analysis of student need is carried out in 3 categories, namely necessities, lacks, and wants. The result of necessity shows that 77.9% of students need media for learning. Moreover, in the lack category, the ability of student to explain something is still lack. This is indicated by the answer on this item getting a high score of 64.5%, while the answer no gets a value only 35.5%. This shows that most students still lack mastery of the ability to explain something. This is because student effectiveness in class is significantly less, where only 38.7% of students active and participate in learning, while 61.3% of the other students are very passive when learning in classroom. Analyzing student need in the wants category show that students need learning media such as module. This is indicated by the result of questionnaire that get a score of 71%. The module get the highest score compared to the other media, and this is because students think that the module is exciting and interesting, so it get a score of 77.4% on the item of media interest for students. Students also prefer learning that includes games, as seen from student answer to the game item getting a score of 51.6%. Students also really want the module media as a descriptive text learning media to get a value of 90.3%. At the same time, the skill that students want to master are all skills that get 45.2% result. However, at this research, the researcher only focused on reading skill so that students can master the material based on what they read. The interview results show that some students do not use gadgets, so it is difficult for them to do online learning. In addition, the obstacles faced when learning online are internet signals that are not good. So students and teachers find it challenging to do distance learning. While for curriculum analysis, the school study used the 2013 curriculum, and the book that used by the school is When English Ring a Bell. Then, at the design stage, the researcher compiles the material presented in the module, as shown in the picture. The researcher only writes down the material that will be used in the module, but also provide exercises that be used in the module. The next stage is the development stage. At this stage, the researcher compiles the material provided by the approach used, namely the scientific approach. Beside that, researcher also developed the display of the module, and also researcher added games to the module and video barcodes that students can access to add insight to students who have a gadget in their home. Starting from the cover, content and appendixes are compiled and developed according to the needs of students. Before the media is tested, the media will be validated first by the expert. The result obtained from the validation of the first expert were 84% 0.4% with a mean value of 4.22, while the second expert got a value of 100% and a mean value of 5. So if on average, if it would get a result 92.2% with a mean of 4.61. The model is feasible and can be used by the student in a learning process. At the implementation stage, the researcher only provided the module as a teaching material for the teacher. At this stage, the module is given to student by the teacher. The module was given in 2 stages. The first one, the preliminary test for 31 students, wherever main field testing with 61 students. Module given at the main field testing stage is the evaluation module at the preliminary testing stage. The evaluation stage is where researchers improve the quality of the module from the result obtained from preliminary testing. This improvement is like increasing the visibility of module that previously received low score. This stage is carried out after the preliminary testing to be tested again in the main field testing, and at that time after the main field testing to get the maximum final product. The result of the feasibility of the module at that time of preliminary testing, namely for activity and text item, got a mean value of 3.27 or 82%. The item type of language got a mean value of 3.16 and the percentage value is 79%. Item structure and grammar got a mean value of 3.24 and a percentage of 81%, wherever the last one, the layout and physical item, get a mean value of 3.45 with a percentage of 86%. While the main field testing for activity and task item got a mean value of 3.36 or 84%, an increase of 0.09 in the mean value and 2% in the percentage. The item type of language get a mean value of 3.21. The percentage value is 81%. This item has increased in a mean value of 0.05 and a percentage of 2%. Item structure and grammar get a mean value of 3.28 and a percentage of 82%. The increase in this item is 0.02 and 1%, respectively. The last item, the layout and physical item, get a mean value of 3.42 with 86%. This item did not increase but decreased by 0.03, but this did not affect much because of the number of respondents. The main field testing was more significant than the preliminary testing, so this is not affect the final output of the module. The result of student and teacher response is that student gets 75% result. From this result, it can be said that the descriptive text module was practical and suitable for learning process. And the teacher result, 89%, means that this descriptive text module is feasible for teaching material. For the obstacle, the researcher used 6 stages of reflective writing. The first one is description, where researcher developed teaching material in the form of modules for descriptive text material with a scientific approach. The second one is filling. At the time of development, the researcher found some difficulties due to the lack of experience, and the time given was too short that the researcher felt a little difficult. The third is evaluation. Evaluation is always carried out at each stage so that nothing is missed and goes well. Fourth, analysis. The developed media can be done well despite some obstacle in its development. Researcher must adjust to the needs of students with the modules needed by the student. 5. Conclusion. Conclusion is the development of learning media needs to be done carefully and patiently to get media that suits the needs of students. And the last one is action plan. Researcher will develop future research plans as mature as possible. In addition, the researcher will also suggest writing down the period needed for the development process to run optimally. That's all that I can say in this presentation. However, before I close this presentation, let me conclude this presentation. The first one, the module development process runs smoothly. Through the ADI method, the product development process is carried out properly so that the module can be developed according to the needs of students. The second, the feasibility of the descriptive text module developed and included in the appropriate category and already meets the criteria for use in the learning process so that student reading skill increase with the help of the descriptive text module. Third, the response given by student and teacher to descriptive text module is very good because the module can facilitate teacher and student in carrying out the teaching and learning process. And the last one, the obstacles experienced by researcher in this research were that the researcher had not yet mastered the ADI development method and the time given was too short for developing a product. However, researcher can overcome these difficulties with the help of supervisor and further explore the method used. That's all from me. Thank you for your attention. Sorry if there is an error in this presentation. Once again, thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.